the chief minister is the head of the government. So now, according to the constitution, Article 153, there is a provision of, it provides that an office of the governor has to be given in all the states. And another important point to come across here is the 7th Amendment Act of 1956. It states that the governor can be a person can be a governor for one or more states. That is, he can be a governor for one or two states. And the most important point to remember here is the governor should not be from his home state. Here, the governor, he should not be the governor to from his home state. He should be governor to the other states. But the chief minister should be from the office of the chief minister, and the chief minister should be from the home state only. This is a very important point to remember. Now, from the Article 153 to 234, it gives the provision of the governor for all the powers and functions. That is, the articles from 153 to 234. 234, according to these articles in the Constitution, it states that they give the powers to the governor. Now, the governor, as we all know, is a nominal head, or a nominal executive also we can call him as. And what is the difference between a nominal executive and a real executive? A nominal executive is on his name only all the decisions of the government will be taken, means from his signature and seal, with his name, on his name only, all the government decisions will be taken. Hence, he is called as a nominal head. And the chief minister is considered as a real head because he is an elected representative. He is being elected by the people, and he forms the government, and he takes the government forward in the decision-making process. So when as we all know, we are in a democratic form of government where we rule ourselves. So we elect our representatives, and we give the power to the representatives to take decisions on behalf of us. So the chief minister is a person whom we elect as our representative to take decisions on behalf of us. So he is considered as a real executive. And as here, the governor is a nominal executive, or we can say as a constitutional head, where he will be safeguarding the decisions, and he will see that the chief minister does not take any decisions against the constitution. Hence, he is considered as a nominal head or a constitutional head. So this is the basic difference between the governor and the chief minister. Now, talking to the eligibility criteria, or we can say that how can a person can become a governor. The first and foremost thing is the governor. To become a governor, he should be a citizen of India. And a person should have 35 years of age. Means a person who attains an age of 35 years will be eligible to be a governor of the state. And another important point to remember here is, the governor, he should not hold any office of profit. When he is going to contest the governor, to be in the race of the governor. So what do we mean by office of profit? Office of profit means the person who wants to become a governor, he should not be in service, that in the government departments. either in any of the, if he is an employee of the government, state government, he should resign that. That is, so he should not hold any office of profit. And another important point to remember here is he should not also, we see many times or here that many politicians only will become governors. So how do they become governors with the political background? Because they have the exposure and experience and have the knowledge about the constitution as well as the well-being of the citizens. Hence, the experience counts to be a governor. And moreover, when that person, any politician or any person who wants to contest, who wants to become a governor, he should not be hold any office, or he should not be a member of any of the assembly, a legislative assembly, nor the parliament. It means he should not be a member of the legislative assembly nor the parliament. If he wishes to contest the elections or to be a governor, he has to resign as a member of the parliament or the legislative assembly. Or if he is an employee in the state government, he has to resign that, and then only he will be eligible to contest the elections of the governor. And the governor, the elections of the governor will not be done as the elections of the chief minister or the council of ministers is done. There is a procedure which is being followed, and this procedure is being done through a proper channel, and it is being handled by the president. Hence, the president appoints the governor of the states with the recommendations of the prime minister and the concerned state chief ministers. Now, how does this procedure begin? This procedure of electing, or we can say that the procedure of selecting the governor is being done through a proper channel of the state election commissions. Now, the state election commission, the chief election commission, comes out with a notification of being aware, and here the prime minister plays a very, very important role. The prime minister selects the governors of the states, and he recommends the names to the president, and the president, because as we all know, in the last semester in the union administration, you might have studied about the powers and functions of the president. In the powers and functions of the president, we have discussed that the president has an executive power and function to appoint the governors of the states. So in this regard only, the president has all the power to appoint the governors of the state with the recommendations of the prime minister and the concerned chief ministers. And here directly we can say that the president appoints the governors of the states. Now, the term of office of the governor is 5 years. The governor's term of office is 5 years. And if the governor is willing to resign any time, he can send his resignation to the president. He has to send the resignation to the president. So the governor works in the pleasure, or works during the pleasure of the president, we can say. Now, the term of office is 5 years, and the oath of office, Now, what do we mean by oath of office? Oath of office is a pledge to which is being given to the governor. Now, this oath of office is administered by the Chief Justice of the High Court. By the Chief Justice of the High Court, the governor is administered the oath of office. Now, in we can say that these are the important points to be remembered in the context of the governor. Now, we will talk about the powers and functions of the governor. Now, according to the powers and functions of the governor, now as we have studied about the president and the governor, as we all know, the president is the constitutional head of the country and the governor is the constitutional head of the state. So now the president has more powers than the governor. Now, what are the powers which are being excluded from the president? The president has legislative, executive, judiciary, financial, diplomatic, military, and emergency. But the governor has executive, legislature, judiciary, financial powers. Means there are no military powers, no emergency powers, and no diplomatic powers. So these three powers are being given only to the president and not to the governors of the state. And the governor is also termed as a connecting channel between the president and the state government. He is considered as a connecting channel between the state government and the president, and he is also considered as an agent of the central government. He is also considered as an agent of the central government, and he is also being considered as a representative of the president, because the president cannot be there in every state. So the president functions will be performed by the governors in their particular states. So coming to the powers and functions, we will talk about these powers and functions of the governor in detail. Now, the first and foremost is the emergency powers. Now, what are these emergency powers? The executive powers, the executive powers and functions of the governor there are many. We will take up few which are very, very important. The first and foremost is all executive actions of the government of the state are formally taken in his name. Means all the decisions which are being taken by the state government are being taken in the name of the governor with his hand and seal. With his hand and seal means with his signature and stamp. Where if you see any government's record, any government order, it will be in the name of the governor. So it is the most important function of the governor. It is that all executive decisions will be taken in his name. Then the second important function is the governor appoints the chief minister and the council of ministers. The governor appoints the chief minister and the council of ministers. Now, how do this appointment take place? After the general elections in the particular states, the party which gets more number of seats submits a memorandum to the governor stating that they have gained more seats and they are eligible to form the government. With the invitation of the governor, or we can say by the invitation of the governor, the party president who has got more seats will be invited to form the government. And mostly the party president only becomes the chief minister of the state. Now, if you take the Telangana state, the party president, KCR is the party president of the TRS and he is the chief minister of Telangana. So likewise, mostly the party presidents only will become the chief ministers of the state. And it is not mandatory that the party president only should become the chief minister or the prime minister. It is up to the party who have gained more seats. So, and with the recommendation of the chief minister, of the president, the names of the council of ministers will be recommended by the chief minister, and with this the governor will appoint. Means, now what do we mean by this appointment? The oath of office will be administered to the chief minister and the council of ministers. So if you have seen, when the formation of the government takes place, the governor administers the oath of office to the chief ministers and to the chief minister and the council of ministers. So this is a very, very important function of the governor, we can say. Apart from the chief minister and the council of ministers, there are many other important executive functions, that is the appointments which are being made by the governor. To name a few, we can take the governor appoints the state election commissioner. The state election commissioner who is responsible. Now, who is the state election commissioner? The state election commissioner is responsible to conduct elections in the state. It might be the state elections, it might be the panchayat elections, municipal elections, means all the elections regarding the state administration or the state are being done by the state election commissioner only. So the state election commissioner is being appointed by the governor. And the other appointments are the governor appoints the chairman of the State Public Service Commission. The chairman of the State Public Service Commission is being appointed by the governor, and we can say the Advocate General of the state is also being appointed by the governor only. Now, you might get a doubt saying that now how will the governor appoint all these? How will he choose them? Now, as I told you, it is only as I told you that the governor is only a constitutional head and he does not have any role to play in the decision-making process of the state government. So he has only got the nominal power. Hence, he will only take the decisions of the chief minister with the consultations of the chief minister, and he will only appoint. So the Advocate General or the state election commissioner or the state public service commissioner or the SC/ST commissioners, all of them will be appointed by the governor only with the recommendations of the chief minister. So by this, we can understand that how important the chief minister is. All the decision making related to the working of the state government is vested upon the chief minister. Hence, he is called, the chief minister is called as the head of the government, and the governor is considered, or he is called as the head of the constitution. Hence, we have to differentiate between the governor and the chief minister. And another important point is the the governor appoints vice chancellors to the universities, and the vice chancellors means above them somebody is there. So the governor is the chancellor of all the universities of that particular state. Means all the vice chancellors should report to the governor as well as to the chief minister. But the state universities' decision will be vested with the chief minister only. So these are all the executive powers of the governor. Now coming to the legislative powers. Now the legislative powers are, now what do we mean by the legislative powers? As we all know that each state has its own legislature. Legislature is the assembly, we call it as, where the decisions of the government are taken. We elect the MLAs, members of legislative assembly, who are the representatives of the people. And here the governor also has a very, very important power and functions to play in this legislature. Now, to name a few, we can say that the governor has a right to summon, the state legislature, and also he can dissolve the state legislative assembly. Now, what do we understand by the word summoning? And the second one is the dissolving of the state legislative assembly. Summoning is if we all see that the assembly, there will be an assembly, the meeting of all the members of the legislative assemblies. So this will be done through a proper channel. That is, the governor will come out with a statement that the assembly proceedings will start. So the proceedings will start by the speech of the governor. This is the summoning. The second one is that the governor can dissolve the assembly. If the chief minister is unable to take decisions, or if there is any administrative lapses, and if the chief minister is unable to continue in the government, or if the chief minister is falling short of the magic figure of the MLAs, then he can recommend to the governor to dissolve the assembly. So with the recommendation of the chief minister, the governor can dissolve the assembly and the fresh elections can be held. So this is a very, very important point to be remembered in the legislative functions of the governor. This chapter is Module 1, Chapter 2, Governor. Somebody is asking the chapter number. This is first module, second topic, governor. Then the second important point here in the legislative powers and functions is the governor addresses the state legislature at the commencement of the first session of the legislative assembly. Now, what do we mean by first session? First session is when, after the general elections are held, the legislative assembly is been all the members, the freshly elected members come to the assembly, and the first session of the assembly, the speech will be administered by the governor only. So the governor administers the first session of the assembly, and also the governor administers, or he gives the speech in the first session of the budget. That is, when the budget is being placed in the assembly, then also the governor gives out a speech. Then the third one is, the governor can appoint any member of the state legislative assembly to conduct the proceedings in the absence of the speaker and the deputy speaker. Now, what does this point explain us? Here, we all know that the assembly has a speaker and a deputy speaker. Now, if the speaker and the deputy speaker are on leave or on other works, then the governor can ask, or he can recommend any of the assembly members to conduct the proceedings of the legislative assembly. Because with the absence of the speaker or the deputy speaker, the proceedings cannot be stopped. So to continue the proceedings, the governor can ask any of or he selects a person or member of the legislative assembly to conduct the proceedings. Then the next important point here is the governor. The governor nominates 1/6. The governor nominates 1/6 of the members of the state legislative council from amongst the persons having special knowledge. Now, what does this sentence explain us? That is, we all know that we have state legislative assembly and as well as state legislative council. Now, the state legislative assembly consists of the members who are being elected by the people. That is, they are MLAs, we call them as. MLA, the full form of MLA is Member of Legislative Assembly. So we, the people, elect our MLAs. But the members of Legislative Council, MLCs they are called as, they are not being elected through elections. That is, we, the citizens, don't elect them. They are being elected by the graduates, that is, who have done their PG, who have done their post-graduation. They are eligible to vote for the MLCs, Member of Legislative Council. So who are graduates? They are only, and these graduates have to enroll themselves, and then only they will be eligible to vote for the MLCs, that is the members of Legislative Council. Now, in this council also, the governor can appoint 1/6 of them, of the total strength of the council, from the society or who have special knowledge, in different fields. Now, I'll give you an example of the parliament. In the Rajya Sabha, the president, in the third semester, you might have studied that in the president's powers and functions, where the president nominates 12 members to the Rajya Sabha who have special knowledge in different fields. For example, Sachin Tendulkar, all of them all of them, they all are have brought the popularity, or we can say they have given more to the country. So these they have been nominated they to give them importance or give them privilege. The president nominates them as the members of the Rajya Sabha. So likewise, here also in the state, the governor can appoint 1/6 of the total members of that council. In the total council, how many members are there? From that, 1/6 of them can be nominated, and who have special knowledge in different fields. And another important point here is he can nominate one member to the state legislative assembly from the Anglo-Indian community. Anglo-Indian community, and from Anglo-Indian community, one person can be nominated, or we can say can become an MLC, and he will be directly appointed by the governor. These are all the important, we can say, legislative powers and functions of the governor. Now, coming to the financial powers. Now, what are the important financial powers of the governor? The governor sees that the annual financial statement is laid before the state legislature. Now, what do we understand by this term annual financial statement? Annual financial statement is nothing but the state budget. State budget. In the Constitution, there is no term as budget. So in the Constitution, the word state budget is not there. Instead of budget, it is called as this annual financial statement. Annual financial statement. Hence, the governor sees that, means he takes up the responsibility of placing the budget in the parliament, in the assembly. But the responsibility of preparation of the budget is done by the state government. That is the chief minister and the finance minister and the council of ministers. It is the responsibility of these ministers and the chief minister, that is the state government, to prepare the budget. But for this preparation, the procedures and the proceedings of the preparation of the budget is being closely monitored by the governor, and the governor sees that if the state budget is being placed in the parliament, in the state legislature on time. Hence, this is a very, very important function of the governor, we can say, in the financial powers. Second important one is money bills can be introduced in the state legislature only with his prior recommendations. That is, if the government wants to introduce any bill in the parliament, any money bill in the parliament, then the government has to take prior permission from the governor to place it in the parliament. So it is the prime responsibility of the state administration to take prior permission from the governor. Then the third important one is no demand for a grant can be made except on his recommendations. That is, if the state government needs any grants, then the proposal has to be placed in the legislature, and to place that in the state legislature, the state government has to take prior permission from the governor. Means all the decisions which are to be taken by the state administration regarding the assembly or the state legislature has to be consulted, and the prior permission has to be taken from the governor. Then the next is the governor constitutes a finance commission every 5 years to review the financial position of the panchayats and the municipalities. Now, what do we understand by the finance commission? The finance commission is a body which works in collaboration or in cooperation with the state administration, and it also helps the state administration or the finance ministry in preparing the budget and also in the policy formulation regarding the financial policies. And also the finance commission keeps a track record of all the revenues and expenditures which are being done by the state. And it will report, this finance commission will report to the governor whenever the governor wants to have an information regarding the finances of the state. And moreover, this finance commission, the chairman of the finance commission is being appointed by the governor, and the term of this finance commission is 5 years. The term of this finance commission is 5 years. Then, another important point in this regard of the State Finance Commission is the State Finance Commission also keeps a track of the finances which are being given to the panchayats and the municipalities. Now, we all know that the panchayats and the municipalities, which are considered as the local governments, by the funding of the government only, these panchayats run. So in the state budgets, the government allocates funds to the panchayats as well as the municipalities. So here, we can say that the financial powers of the governor are more important. Then coming to the judicial powers. The judicial powers and functions of the governor are, here the governor can grant pardon to any person convicted of any offense against any law. That is now here there is a difference between the governor, the powers and functions of the governor and the president. Now, when we talk about the powers and functions of the president appoints, the president has the power to grant pardon and mercy. Now, what do we understand by mercy? The person who is has been convicted or is being sentenced, a death sentence is being given by the Supreme Court, then that person can go for a mercy petition to the president. As we all know, the president is the highest authority of law. That is, above the Supreme Court in the country, it is the president only. Because the president and the courts, they function in the purview of the constitution, means they work because the most important function of the courts is safeguarding of the laws or safeguarding the rules and regulations and the rights and responsibilities of the citizens. So the president is above the Supreme Court. The highest authority of law in the country is the president. So the president, here the mercy petition, if any person is being given death sentence by the Supreme Court, then that person can file a mercy petition to the president. The president, with the thorough recommendations or with the thorough consultations with the Supreme Court, Prime Minister, then only the president will come out with a decision. But in most cases, the mercy petitions are not accepted and they are not being given. So, but the difference, as I was telling you, there is a difference between this judicial power. The mercy petitions can be given or can be filed to the president, but the mercy petitions cannot be filed to the governor. This is a difference between the powers and functions in the judiciary, in the president and the governor. So, but here in the judicial powers, the governor can only grant pardon to a person who has done any crime or where he is being given punishment by the high courts. If a person is being given punishment by the high court, then he can file a pardoning petition to the governor. Because in the state, the high court is the highest authority and above high court is the governor. But the governor cannot give cannot pardon or cannot give a death sentence, or he cannot go with the death sentence. Second important point here is the governor is consulted by the president while appointing the judges of the concerned state high courts. That is, we all know that each individual state has an high court. State high court, we call them as. Now, that is the highest court in the state. And the highest court in the country is the Supreme Court. So the highest court in the state is the state high court, and the chief justice or the judges of this high court are being appointed by the president, not by the governor. The high court judges are appointed by the president with the consultations of the governor. Means the governor will give or recommend people to the president. This is we can say an important function which is being performed by the governor. Then another important function is the governor makes appointments, postings, and promotions to the district judges in the consultations of the state high courts. That is, the governor, he has the power for the appointments, postings, promotions. Now, what do we understand by this? Appointments is we all know in the districts we have district courts. So the governor appoints the district court judges. The district court judges are being appointed by the governor, and the postings who has to be placed where is being done by the governor only. And the promotions is if a judge is in the high court, in the district court, and he can be promoted to the high court. He can be promoted to the high court by the governor only. So these are all the important powers and functions of the governor in regard to the judicial powers. And another important point we can discuss in this is the governor also appoints persons to the judicial service of the state. Judicial service of the state in consultation with the state high court and the state public service commission. Now, what do we understand by the judicial service? The judicial services, Lokayukta, human rights, all this, women empowerment or women safety, all these are the where there are many legal complications are there. So, and where they all have to work in respect to the rules and regulations of the Constitution. So, in this regard also, the governor has a pleasure to appoint all of them in this regard. Next is the constitutional positions. Now, what do we understand by the word constitutional positions? It means that the Constitution of India, it has given the center and the states some powers, and which are being divided between the nominal executive and the real executive. So as we all know that the governor is the nominal executive, he has some functions to perform where the decision making will be in the hands of the chief minister, but in the pleasure of the governor only they work. Here, the most important one in this constitutional positions is the constitutional emergency. Constitutional emergency. In the semester 3, you might have studied about the emergency powers of the president, where constitutional emergency, or it is also called as president's rule. President's rule or a constitutional emergency. Now, what does that mean? Here, and where this means that if the state government is not functioning properly, and if the chief minister is unable to run the government, then he submits a letter to the governor and requests him to dissolve the assembly. Dissolve the assembly, and when the assembly is not there, it is called as administrative lapses or the constitutional emergency, or administrative emergency also we can say, where the government will not be there. All the decisions of the government of the state will be taken by the governor with the help of the state bureaucrats, that is the IAS officers we can say. Now, this situation occurs in two ways, or in two ways. The first one is if the state government completes 5 years of term. If the state government completes 5 years of term, and that is 5 years of term, and if they have to go for general elections, then the chief minister, before completing the 5 years, 6 months before completion only, he surrenders to the governor. He surrenders to the governor, and he dissolves, he recommends the governor to dissolve the assembly. He dissolves the assembly, and he will request the governor to impose constitutional emergency or president's rule. When this situation occurs, the governor recommends this to the president and to the central government, that is the prime minister. With the recommendation of the prime minister, the president will impose president's rule. And till the next elections are held, till the next formation of the government takes place, the governor will rule the state, and all the decisions regarding the government will be taken by the governor only. This is a very, very important constitutional power which is being given to the governor. And second important point here, the second way of imposing a constitutional emergency or the president rule is if in the term of office of 5 years, in between only, with the before completion of 5 years, if the government is unable to deliver good administration, if the government is unable to give good administration, then the chief minister can go and request the governor to impose constitutional emergency. Now when this happens when, because if the MLAs don't support, the number of MLAs don't support the present chief minister, or if they join other parties, then there will be a constitutional emergency where the magic figure, they call it as, if they don't have that magic figure in the legislative assembly, then the chief minister has to surrender his government to the governor and request the governor to form a new government or can go for fresh elections. But this happens when if any other party is ready to form the government with the magic figure or with the more number of MLAs, then the governor can call that party to form the government. And then there won't be any need to go for fresh elections. Then that party will come forward and form the government. Then after forming the government, the governor will ask that party chief president or the chief minister to prove the confidence in the assembly. That is the majority, we call them as. They have to prove their majority in the assembly. If they show their majority, that is, if they show the magic figure of the number of MLAs, then that party can continue in the government. And if they don't go by this, then the governor can go for recommend, or he can recommend to the president to go for constitutional emergency or the president's rule. So this we can say that in these aspects only we can say that the governor has a very important role to play in these contexts. Otherwise, the governor is only a nominal executive. Nominal executive means namesake. Only the governor is considered only for the namesake. That is, but all the decisions are being taken by the chief minister only. So the state administration runs in the pleasure of the chief minister and the decision making of the chief minister. But when it comes in regard to the constitution and in the safeguarding the laws and the rules and regulations, then it is the responsibility of the governor to look into the matters of the constitution. And another important point we can say is the governor has a prime responsibility to make sure that all the decisions which are being taken by the government or by the chief minister should be in the purview of the constitution. Means the government cannot take any haphazard decision or cannot take any decision on their own. They have to take decisions in the limitations of they should be in the limitations of the law, and they have to take decisions in respect to the rules and regulations and in respect to the laws of the constitution only, whereby we can say that by this the government is being has been given the liberty, as well as we can say that it has been given some rules and regulations to act upon, whereby we can say that the government cannot go beyond the constitution and cannot take their own decisions. Whoever it might be, they have to be in the purview of the constitution only. So this is all about the governor and the appointment and the powers and functions of the governor. So, and another important point here is the articles from 153 to 234. Articles 153 to 234 in the Constitution. These all articles are related to the governor only. Means from Article 153 states that the governor should be, a governor should be there for each state. So from there, Article 153 states that a governor should be there for each state. And likewise, from 154 states that there should be an appointment should be done by the president. Likewise, from 153 to 234, all the powers and functions, everything is being done in this are embedded in the constitution in the purview of the governor. So this is all about the governor of the state administration. So if you have any doubts regarding this today's class, you can come up. Anything? Any doubts regarding the today's class? Yeah, is everything clear?
Once again, state government, madam. State government.
State government.
Yes, madam.
What you want to me to explain in state government? I'm talking about government only.
Administration in state government, madam.
Administration in state government?
Yes, madam.
Yes, but do you want me to repeat any power of the governor?
Yes, madam.
Which power? Which power you want me to?
Finance power, madam.
Financial power?
Yes, madam.
So the financial powers, there are a few we can say. In the financial powers, the financial power, the most important financial power of the governor is the governor has to see to that the state budget is being presented in the assembly on time. The state government has to prepare the budget and it has to be presented in the assembly on time, and it is the prime responsibility of the governor to look forward. That is, we can say that no money bills can be introduced. Means the government cannot introduce whenever they want to any bill. They have to take permission from the governor to introduce a money bill in the assembly. So we can say that these are the two important financial powers in regard to the financial powers of the governor. Anything else? Am I clear?
Yes.
Anything else you want me to?
No, ma'am.
Is everything clear? Okay. Thank you so much.
Once again, Article 153.
Article 153, it
Yes,
states
ma'am.
that the each state has to have a governor. This is being given in the constitution only. So each state should have a governor. And another important point here is under the Seventh Amendment Act, there is a provision that a governor can be governor for one or more states. One or more states. That is, a governor can be governor for two states. That is another important one. And another important article, we can say that the governor, whoever is the governor, he should not belong to that hometown. For example, if we have a governor from our state, a person, he should not be a governor to our state. He should be governor to the other state. That is, he should be governor to the Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra. Likewise, but the chief minister should be from our state only. That is the basic difference between the governor and the chief minister. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.